Hello everyone, I'm Eric. In this tutorial, I'll be introducing you to a simple MVC PHP framework. This is a framework I've been using for a while now, and I've really come to like it, and I enjoy using it because it's simple and easy to learn. It's easy to use, and I really find it very easy and faster to use compared to other PHP frameworks. So in this tutorial, I will be showing you on how you can install this to your development environment, and you can use it to start building your own web applications. In front of me, I have it open on the front page. The front page is known as a simple MVC framework, and as you can see, it said the simple MVC framework is a light but powerful PHP framework for building web applications. Now what we are going to do next, we are going to download this framework, and we are going to install it to our development environment, and we are going to create a project with it. To do so, I'm just going to hit the download button, as you can see here. So I'm going to hit on download. This will take us to GitHub, and I'm using terminal, and this framework, as I said, this is version 2.2, and here is just a definition what it is, and you can see the framework is in the packages. So what I'm going to do is I'm using a terminal, so I'm going to install it using my terminal. They said install from terminal now by using Composer. I have my PHP development environment all well set up, and for this tutorial I'm not going to show you how to set up your own development environment or how to install Composer. What I'm just going to show you is how you can start up with this framework, and you can go ahead to use it. There are other ways of installations. For example, they said download the framework, unzip the package. To run Composer, you navigate, so so you can read all through this, and you can decide to choose whatever you want to, or how to install it. As I said, I'm using terminal, so I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to open my terminal, Control Alt P. Okay, my terminal is open. And what I want to do is I'm going to navigate or cd to the folder where my web applications are all stored, and to do so I'm going to cd to var. Okay, once I'm here now, I'm going to paste in the code I copied from GitHub. Okay, if you read through this, it said Composer, create project, simple MVC framework, folder name. So this is what you need to change, this folder name. I'm going to go ahead and change that folder name to let's my website, and once I do that, I'm going to hit enter, and I'll wait for that to install. It may take a while. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and type Y and hit enter. So what else do I have to do now? I have to cd to where to this folder I just installed, which is as you can see here, my website. You remember the folder we just created, my website, so I have to cd to this. To do so, I'm just going to type from terminal cd my website. Okay, now we are in the folder, our project folder. To see just what we have in our project folder, I'm just going to list it. Alright. Okay, as you can see, we have an application folder, and we have this composer.log file, we have an index file in our root, we have a readme.md in our root, and we also have a composer.json, and we have an errorlog.html file, and we also have the license.txt in our folder, and we also have a vendor folder in our root folder. So this is all what we needed for this to be installed in our project, or for our development to continue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this folder in Sublime Text. I'm using the Sublime Text editor so we can see what we have. Okay, so that is it. Let me expand this. Okay, so we have here, this is a project, and we have all these files here in our folder or in our project root. So here we have the app folder in under the my website project, and in the app folder we have a lot of other folders like our controllers, our core, helpers, models, modules, language, templates, views, and we have another folder in our root which is known as a vendor. This is what comes with Composer and whatever plugins you decide to add through Composer. And here what we are going to do first is we are going to try to open this my website on a browser, and we will see what is going to happen. So I'm going to go to my web browser, and I'm going to type localhost my website. Bam. This wet, so let me fix this so you can see what is going in. Okay, so our browser is saying our browser is telling us no config.php file is found in our website folders, or config renamed. So we have to rename our config.example to config.php. To do so, let me just go back to my Sublime Text where I have the folder of application opened, and I'm going to go to the app folder core, and there we have the config.example.php. So what did it ask us to do? He said we should rename this to config.php. So I'm just going to hit renamed, and I'm going to remove the .example, and now we hit save. Now we have it as config.php, and let's go back to a browser window and see what happens. Let's refresh it. Okay, so as you can see, we have now a hello welcome from the welcome controller, this content. Okay, so this is our welcome page or index page of our website. Now there is a navigation button here, and it says open web sub page. Okay, let's try to navigate to this sub page and see what happens. So when I hit open sub page, oh bam, we have an error. The requested URL or sub page was not found on this server. Well, it is there, but there is something we have to do with our configurations. So I'm going to go back to my Sublime, and in my Sublime here we have in the config file we have some configurations we need to do. Here it said define the relative base path. Okay, what was the folder of my website? If you're using a local host and you're just installing everything directly to the root part of it, so you don't need to change anything here. But for me, I have so many other projects in this local host root path, so I'm going to add the name or the root part of this uh, particular project we are working on. So I'm going to add my website and with a closing slash. And what else we, for now let's just save that and let's try to check if that works. Let's refresh it. Oh, it still doesn't work. Okay, that is because there is still one more change we need to do, and that is in our HTSS file. And let's open our HTSS file, and in the HTSS file we have to rewrite the base also. So let's add here my website with a closing slash, and let's save that and let's see what happens. Let's refresh the page again. Oh, nothing still happens. Well, what mistake are we doing? That is because when this is localhost slash sub page. So let's go back to our front page. Let's refresh this and let's try to navigate again. Okay, that is it. It works perfect. Okay, we can navigate back to our home page, so it works. So those are the two changes you will need to do if you are not using the root part directly. Okay, now let's go back to a Sublime text and let's see what else we need to do. I'm just going to close this HTSS because we don't really need to use it now for anything else for now. So I'm going to close it, and I will continue with the config.php file. In the config.php file, there are a lot of things you can change here, and that will depend on what you're doing or what you're developing. We have this set default controller and method for legacy calls. So we have a default controller, which is our welcome controller, and we have a defined method, which is indexed. So if you look at our application, we have the first folder here. You said controllers, and if I open these controllers, you'll see our first controller is a welcome controller, and so that is the default controller we have set our application to. Whenever someone first of all navigates to www.webpage.com, this is a controller that it will be served with. Okay, next, going down, we have in this simple MVC framework, you can have as many templates as you have, as long as you know how to change them and to navigate with them. So for this template, it says set the default template. We are going to have just one template here, and it's known as default. And if you open a templates folder, that is what you're going to see. This is our default template, and in our default template we have all these CSS. We have a CSS folder, we have a JavaScript folder or JS folder, and we have the footer and header of our applications. Okay, that's enough for now about templates. Let's head to our language. Okay, as you can see here, we have in this MVC, we can have our website in different languages, and this is set in a way that if I change this value here, it's going to give me a different language. So let's look at the language. Okay, there's a folder here under application, and it's known as language. Let me open that folder and see what it contains. Okay, that is it. So we have the language codes for different languages. Let's say for now, as we saw, our website is in English, but what if I want to change this to maybe Russian? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this language code from EN to RU. Let's save that and let's see what happens. Refresh your page. Okay, so that is it. When you refresh the page, sorry, we have now a website in Russian language. That is it. So as you can see, this is cool. I really love this. Okay, now let's continue with our configuration file. I'm going to just send it back to English because I can't read Russian. Okay, and let me save it. Okay, if you check it back and let's refresh your page, our website is back to English. Okay, that is it. Down the road, we are going now to database details and how you can set up your database details here. This is when you start manipulating with a database. But if you don't need to maybe call in some data from the database, then you don't need it. You don't need it. But I think most PHP developers or most websites today are data driven, and you're probably going to need this. So you just have here to define your database type, which by default is MySQL, and the database host name localhost. And here we have you define your database name. Here is the database name you'll be using, and you have to define the user. Here I have root as my user, and you have to set in your password. That is it for setting up the database. Okay, next, now you have to set up a prefix to be used to call your databases, so you don't always need to type in the full name of your database. To do so, it's actually very easy. This is a call to your database tables, and the prefix, uh, this is what you can do. You can change this to whatever value you like it, and whenever you'll be calling in your database from your model, sorry, you'll be using something like let me see, something like this. You'll be calling your tables with something with prefix, sorry, or prefixed, for example, users, and this is going to bring me the simple MVC prefix users tables, which is the same as, this is equals to simple MVC underscore users tables. So it's the same thing, and it's actually just really for more simplicity and easy to use. It depends on whatever you like to do. If you don't want to set it database table this way, it's not a problem. Okay, so let's go down to the next, which is a prefix for our sessions. If you're using sessions, somehow maybe you want to define the prefix for your sessions, which is almost like the same thing we use here. So we have the prefix for our sessions as simple MVC. You can always change this to be whatever you want. And next we have to define a site title. If you look here at the browser at the moment, here we have a site title as v2.2. We can change this to the name or the site title of our website, which is my website. Let's save that and let's refresh your page to see what happens. If I refresh that, oh, you can see welcome my website. So this changes as a site title, and you can use that wherever you want to. Next, we head over to error logs. This is where our script will be reporting all the errors, and this is quite simple. If you look here at the root folder of our application, we have a file name is errorlog.html. This is what will be reporting errors, and let's see how we can cause an error, and let's see how what will happen. To do so, I'm going to head to my controller, and in the controller I'm going to open the welcome.php, and in the welcome.php we have all these language constructs, and we have our index method, which will be called in our welcome page. But for now I want to force an error to occur so we can see how our script will be reading our errors. So I'm going to add an S here, and I'm going to save that, and I'll refresh my index page to see what happens. Well, as you can see, they said an error occurred. The error has been reported. Let's try to navigate to our error log, and to do so I'm just going to paste it here, and I will enter error log.html. Okay, wow, there's something going on. I'm using terminal, and terminal, it's kind of, you know, like with all the security and all that stuff. So at the moment this file is not being read, but how can I solve this problem? I'll go to my terminal, and I'll open my terminal, and I'm going to cd back to my main directory, and I'm going to do add permissions so that this file can be written on the errorlog.html can be written in. So to do so, I'm going to sudo HTML. I hope I spelled the pad correctly. I think so. Let's hit enter. Password will be required. Okay, I think I did it correctly. So let's refresh our page again and see if that error is reporting. Okay, good. That is it. So that is working. It was because of permissions. That's why error wasn't first of all reporting. So now we have here to set error on March 12, 2016 at 4:14 a.m. required variable this is and whatever welcomes.php failed to open stream, no such file in the directory. So we are not having this welcomes.php. What our script was expecting was a welcome.php, where we had welcomes.php. So to okay, I'm going to change that back to a normal, and I will save this, and I'm going to cause another error. How am I going to cause that error? It's by doing it on our sub page. Also, I'm going to just add s to our sub page. Let's save that and let's refresh our page. Okay, let's try to navigate to the sub page. Oh wow, an error occurred. Okay, if you go back and let's check what error it's giving. It said no such file. So we don't also have this sub pages.php. Okay, let's fix it. So you see how nice this is. Our errors have been caught immediately when we do it, and it's actually very cool. Okay, so that is what these error logs are doing. So they are reporting all the errors, and but this is depending on your environment. So we have in this framework there is what we call the development environment and the production environment. We'll get to that in a later time. So now here is you have to set the default time zone of your service or whatever of your application. Actually, I always just comment this out because I prefer to deal with my server time zone. So I'm just going to comment that out. You can always just let it be, or you can set it to your time zone. So that is it for this configuration file, and let's close that, and let's next we are going to do it we are going to look on our routes, but before our routes, let's look at the main index.php file that is being served. Our default, as we saw in our config in our configuration file, it said our default method is indexed. So let's look at the main index.php file, which is in our root folder. Here what it mainly does is it just defined, like here we have the root path of directories and whatever, and it checks if vendor.autoload is there. If not, if it's there, we require it, and if it's not, it said please install through composer, and that is it. You remember when we first of all started our application, when the index page, this index page was trying to be served, it said no config.php file was found, because that is, it was checking is it readable. If it's not, okay, let them know that the config file is not there. Okay, so that is it. And here our environment is set to development, which we can always change to production. And this, what matters with this is the errors. It's a different environment will require different levels of error reporting. By default, development will show errors, but production will hide them. So we can see that we always have to set an environment, error, development, and production. Okay, so that is it for this index file. Our other most important file is our routes file, and in our routes file, it's where we will be setting up the routes of our applications. Okay, so here we have the routes file, and as you can see now, we have welcome at index and welcome the self page. Okay, what if I wanted to add a contact page or contact me page? How am I going to do that? Let's open a browser and let's type, I'm just going to close this first. Let's type contact and hit enter. Wow, they said 404. The page you were looking for could not be found. That's true. There is no route for that file yet. There is no route for this contact page. So we are going to set this contact page root for now, and for this tutorial I'm not really going to dive deep into how this root can be served or work, but I'm just going to demonstrate to you how you can. So I'm going to just copy that and I'll paste it here, and I will rename this to contact contact method, and I'll be saving the root I'll be saving is contact. Okay, let's save that. Wow, the root is still there, but when we try to open this, okay, they said an error occurred. The error has been reported. Let's check what error is given. Let's open back our error. My website uh, error. Okay, here the error is saying call user function array expects perimeter when to be a valid callback. Class controllers welcome does not have a method contact. So our controller, our welcome controller, it's not having the function or the method contact. To do that, what we are going to do is we are going to go back to Sublime and we are going to open a controller, which is in the controller folder, our welcome controller. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to rename this index method to contact, and that is it. Let's save that and let's see what error it's going to give us next. Okay, so we have now what is saving now. You can see it's saying welcome. Actually it's working. Our root is well defined now and there's a method for it. But what is our root saving? It's saving instead our welcome page, which is our welcome view. This is not what we want. We want our own contact page. And how can we get this? Let's go to back to our controller and let's see our render, our template. And here, as you see here, our template is rendering by the welcome page. That is not what we want. We want our contact page. So let's change this from welcome to contact. Let's save this and see what errors. Okay, we have another error here. They said let's refresh our error. They said contact.php failed to open, no such file. That's true, we didn't have any file with contact.php. So what are we going to do about it? We are going to go back to our view folder, and in a contact in our welcome folder under the views, we are going to create a new file and we are going to name it save it as contact.php. Hit save. Okay, so if we refresh our page now, wow, okay, as you can see we don't have that error anymore, but there is nothing to display because we added nothing to our contact.php page in our view class. But let's say I want to maybe echo something or print out something from a controller, for example. This is just for demonstration, you hardly have to do it. So here let me say I want to echo sorry, which one? Oh god, what am I doing? Contact us and close our h1 tag, and let's save that and let's refresh a contact page to see what happens. Okay, as you can see it's saving there, it's displaying there contact us, but you don't necessarily have to do that because I don't see how you want to be echoing stuff from your controller instead of just dealing with your view. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this from our controller, copy it, and I'll come here to a contact page and I'll place it here and I'll save it. And let's refresh to see. Well, That is it. As you can see now, it's saved even differently. There is some sort of CSS applied to this page. Let's view a page and let's see what is it's showing. Okay, as you can see, simple MVC framework comes with the pages or the template. In the template, we have the Bootstrap 3.36 added to it, and we also have our own default style sheet, and we have jQuery also added to it. So where is all of this added? This is added in our template default folder. In the header, if you open the header, you will have here okay, we have here, this is our Bootstrap and this is our style sheet. At the moment, if you open our style sheet, I don't think there's any CSS. Okay, this is where you add your CSS. Let's say I wanted to change the color of it. H1 contact us tag. Let me put it to color, and I'm going to give it green. Let's save that and let's see what happens. Let's refresh our contact page. Okay, good. That is it. So you see it is saving now a green. So that is where you can add apply your own CSS. Okay. There is it now for for our footer. Also we have just the same thing. We have our jQuery added, and we also have a Bootstrap JavaScript added. So that is it. You can add your own custom JS and style sheets in the header and the footer of your default folder of your default template. Okay, let's continue with our contact page. Okay, as we're talking now, if you look at a browser, here we are having a contact page, but the title is saving it saying welcome my website. What is happening? That is because if you look at our welcome controller, in our contact method, it is still saving the welcome text and the welcome message. So how can we do this? We can just simply change this here to let's say contact text and contact message. I'm going to save that. I'm going to the language folder. For now, I'm just going to do that for our English folder, but you can go ahead and do it in the same in all other languages, or in the language you want your website to be. And I'm going to copy this index method here, and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to rename this from index to contact method, and I'm going to also rename this from welcome text to contact text, and I'm going to say here contact us, and I'm going to change this also from welcome message to contact message. And what I want to do is I'm just going to add some simple text here. Do you have any inquiries? Contact us. Okay, let's save that and let's see what happens now in our browser. Okay, as you can see, it's saving contact text, but it seems I did something wrong, and for some reason it's just saying contact text on the text instead of a contact message or title. So let's see what I did wrong there. Oh, I spelled this with a capital letter, which was supposed to be a lowercase letter. Let's refresh it. Okay, as you can see, it says contact us. And let's navigate back to our sub page. We saw this title here, sub page, and what do we see else? We see this welcome to whatever, and this is simply what it did in our view, our sub page view, which is they are echoing the title and they are also echoing the welcome message. And to do so, I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it in my contact.php file, and I'm going to save that, and let's see what these variables are going to echo out. Let's navigate back to our contact page. Okay, as you can see, we have now the same thing like contact us, have any inquiries. So that is it. And how can we set a button here so we can navigate back to our sub page? Yeah, it's simple. Just as you saw the sub page here, this is it. We are just going to add a link back to our main page. So to do so, I'm going to add a button. Sorry, not a button. I'll add an anchor text. And I'm going to echo out our root directory, which we defined earlier in our configuration file. And I'll be going, where do I want to navigate back to our home page, and that will be it. So let's just close it and back to home. Okay, let's save that and let's refresh it and see what happens. Okay, that is it. So I can navigate back, but with the bootstrap, if I wanted to add some style there, it's easy. I'm just going to add a class btn and btn dash success, and let's save that, refresh our web page. Okay, so that is the button back to home. So if I hit on this, it's going to take me back to our home page. So that is how you can add your own custom pages into all your own routes. I think that would be pretty it for this tutorial, and in the next tutorial I will be talking how we can deal more with our routes and how we can really navigate with our routes. This is the beginning of these tutorial sessions, and this is one of the first tutorials. I hope and I pray that you like the tutorials, and if you're still interested in following on with this simple MVC program, I'll be the person here to be trying to explain to you how I've been using it to build my own web applications. Thanks for watching.